The Almost Perfect Podcast.
Welcome to the Almost Perfect Podcast, a celebration of fuck-ups, failures, and falling flat on your face. This is a podcast that believes you can learn from experience, but experience doesn't have to be your own, but perfect time of function fuck-up, listening from somebody else's mistakes. And today we're learning from Mojak Lehoko and Colleen Balchin. Yeah, we got a little catch-up session going on today. It's a double feature. It's a science fiction double feature, late night picture show. I think those are the lyrics of that song. If not, close enough. Close enough. Hey, how are you doing? I sincerely hope you have been making the most of the time that you have had lately, because I'm sure you have seen the news today. And fuck, we're never leaving this nightmare, man. We're never leaving this nightmare. And by this nightmare, I mean South Africa, because we are on the fucking travel ban list again. But the truth is, I'm gonna keep it real with you. I have been banned from the UK for my entire life. It is called being poor. Sad facts of reality is that financially, a lot of us are banned from doing a lot of things. But at the moment, even if you got the cash, even if you're stacking those racks, if God has blessed you, or you just got a inheritance there, seems like it's bad times all around because of this new fucking variant. And I don't know what to say. I ain't got fucking... Like, I see people just slinging judgments all across the internet all day now. And I'm not with you. Like, I'm sorry, I'm not. Like, yes, people need to get vaccinated, of course. And, you know, not fucking fuck out when they're jawling and all the things and take precautions and blah, 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 blah. But, fuck, man. I don't know. Like, they're not going to. Don't know if you've noticed. It's been 2 years now. Don't know if you've noticed how things go. Like, before this pandemic, I was fully, like, anarcho-socialist. I was like, we don't need a government. We can work together. What? Are you fucking high? Yeah. I was definitely fucking high when I thought that. When I thought humanity could come together and do the right things and all of that. But the truth of the matter is, if we're left to our own devices, we're gonna just keep fucking up. Like, we're just gonna keep making the worst decisions and keep prolonging this pandemic. And for me, as I say, like, I just get frustrated when I just see people, like, being, oh, if you're not vaccinated, you're the problem, this, that, everything else. And it's like, yo, like, there are actually real fucking side effects to the vaccine. One of my friends went blind in his fucking one eye for like nearly 2 months because he got blood clots. And he's in his 30s. And he's a pilot. And it affects his fucking work. And he's still like, yo, people must get vaccinated and stuff. But I can understand other people being apprehensive when they know shit like that. I get that. When you're like, shit, if I get this thing, if I get COVID, I might, you know, have some sniffles. I might, you know, feel bad for a couple of days. Because a lot of people don't think that they're going to get the worst of it, obviously. But then they also think that they're going to get the worst of the vaccine side effects, which is weird. But I understand it, man. Nobody in these last 2 years, not you, not me, not fucking anyone except for maybe like some super, super smart scientists have been reasonable, like with regards to all of this. Let's just be fucking honest here. A lot of us have made choices based on emotion, based on fucking what we feel is correct. Yeah, we can try and logic our way to the answers that we, you know, feel are emotionally correct. Because guess what? That's how reason often works. Like, you can reason almost anything if you really want to. And deep down inside, it's because of cultural bias or emotional bias or some other bias that you're able to do that. But I'm fucking digressing here. Anyway, all I'm saying is, don't come on the internet and just fucking talk shit about people who aren't vaccinated when it's not entirely their fucking fault. Like, let's be real here. There's a lot of blame to go around. Like a fuckload of blame to go around. And very little of it, I think, is on you and me. It's not like we were the ones, you know, in the lab busy fucking around with viruses and somehow it, you know, spread to the rest of the world. It's not like you or I did that. So personally, I think the blame there not ours. Also, none of us are in government, so we can't fucking. I mean, I assume none of us are in government. I don't know how many government officials listen to this podcast, but if you do, then maybe you could actually do something about it. But, it's not like any of us can change the fucking laws or change the rules or institute travel bans when you hear about super fucked up variants coming from India, or just in general instituting, some sorts of travel bans sooner. Any of those sorts of things, any sort of containment devices or anything like that, we couldn't fucking do that. None of us, not you, not me. We couldn't fucking turn this country into New Zealand. That was up to the government. So at this point, yes, we should make better choices. You and I, the people on the ground, should make better choices. But how many other fucking people who are way higher up the fucking chain have just completely shanked this fucking thing? And here we are busy being like, oh, fuck you, you're not vaccinated. And it's like, the government hasn't given us any real sort of stimulus in any sort of fucking way, and you're complaining about people trying to make a living from throwing events. And I know this is like shit that me and fucking Gareth were talking about last week, and he was complaining about the fact that people, have been doing events without masks and stuff like that, and I get it, because, I agree, some of that is the cause of some of this, but how much of it is just, unfucking avoidable? How much of this is just inevitable because we don't have any fucking leadership, not here and not anywhere in the world? There's no one fucking really. I mean, that's the thing. I can't blame the UK for wanting to do this shit where they fucking lock the country down from these variants. At the same time, it seems very PR-esque considering just how terribly they've handled the fucking virus in their own fucking country. But I get it, and personally, if the variants, if we had seen this variant somewhere else, we probably should have been doing the same things. But South Africa's economy is also based on tourism, so we need people coming here. So that's why we haven't closed our fucking borders, which is why we have sacrificed the lives of many fucking South Africans. I don't fucking know anymore, man. Did any of that make sense? I don't fucking know. I know I speak with some sort of authority there, but I hope you get the point that I'm trying to make here is just that try not to fucking, be too angry at the person next to you if they're unvaccinated. Because once again, there are a lot of reasons why people wouldn't do it, and you need to just try and actually put yourselves in their shoes and have a little think about it, or also just read what people say. And I get you, if people are coming with the Bill Gates 5G fucking Satan blah 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 stuff, yeah, it's a little come on, man, really? And those people are a little bit harder to deal with, and I don't even know what to fucking say there. Personally, my strategy with those kind of people, I don't fucking associate with them. Whatever happens in their lives happens in their lives. They're not my homies. But I know some of my homies are, stressed about the vaccine for political reasons and various other things. So have some conversations with some people, and maybe you will have a better understanding of things. And then, yeah, maybe you can talk nicely back to people and maybe convince them to get vaccinated instead of trying to fucking shame them into it. Because guess what? When has that ever fucking worked, hey? So yeah, fuck, I had a great weekend though. I had a great time. I partied my fucking face off and probably contributed to a new variant being made. So yeah, look out for that coming soon. No, I partied with both Mojak and Coco, who are on the podcast today. Coco and I went to Queertopia, which was a fantastic event at Con Hill. It's part of the Night Embassy vibe that Jägermeister is doing up there in Joburg. But Andy, who is originally from Durban, who started Same Sex Saturdays, it was their event, and I fucking, had the best time. It was just such a great vibe. Moonchild was playing, so that was great. Got to dance my face off to that. And yeah, they had the rapid testing or proof of vaccination to get in. So I had the proof of vax. And yeah, I was like, that seems dope to me. That seems reasonable. And because Jaeger sponsored the event, obviously they could afford the tests and it wasn't an expense for the crowd. So I thought that was fucking rad. I thought that was a good event. Lots of love the philosophy behind it. I felt super comfortable, super at home, super welcome, and super underdressed. But yeah, I fucking will definitely get Andy on here at some points. Definitely. And you'll hear when Coco comes on, I'll introduce that properly just now. But yeah, a lot of the philosophies of Pussy Party and that are similar to some of the work that Andy's done. And it's cool to see, because I've watched Pussy Party grow and I've watched Same Sex Saturday grow over the years, and just to see the influence of all of it and to watch it continually grow is fucking cool. And then, yeah, I fucking went to Mo's birthday party, which was at Toasted, which is where I actually did the interview with Coco. And fucking shout outs to Toasted. It's in Parkhurst, I think. It's near Rosebank. But banging sandwiches and fucking incredible soup. I got the cheese sandwich with the red pepper soup. Holy fuck. A taste sensation that would satisfy the nation for sure. So shout outs to Toasted. And yeah, shout outs to Mojak Lehoko, because fucking that dude knows how to host. Let me say that much. Had us all looked after quite nicely, and had a wonderful, wonderful afternoon just chatting to various different comedians. I saw fucking Lisa Madinga again. I haven't seen him in so long. I'm definitely gonna hit him up when I go back to Joburg, see if we can do a catch-up episode. Met some other comedians who I hadn't met before. Who else was there? Kagiso Ladiga pulled in. Yeah, it was just a cool vibe, and getting to hang out with comedians. Just a big group of rad as fuck comedians. Lots of banter, lots of laughs, lots of stories. Just fucking good times, man. It was just really, having not been a part of the vibe for so long. And also, whenever I'm in Durban, I don't necessarily feel like I'm part of the comedy scene here. But whenever, I'm in Joburg and, I'm hanging out with comedians up there, I don't know. It does just, for me personally, feel like I'm more accepted and I'm more part of what's going on. And that's so fucking weird to me, that. I don't get that here, but I get that there. But I do think there are very big philosophical differences between the comedy scenes. And maybe that's just the way it is. I relate more. And it's also, I'm older now and I've known a lot of the people for a while, and I don't know. We'll see how it all evolves though, because I am putting together some comedy gigs here in Durban. I'll let you know about those soon. You'll be able to buy tickets on the Almost Perfect website. And then big part of next year, depending on travel restrictions and all of that, is to try and travel and do comedy around the country. So got a lot of planning to do for that, and got a lot, I have to just be adaptable, because it does seem like even with the vaccine and stuff like that, that we might still be having quite a few complications when it comes to COVID. So I'm not going to make plans the way I made plans in 2020, but I'm not going to not make plans like I've not made plans in 2021. I'm going to try and find some sort of balance for 2022 where it's not getting my hopes up, but also not just being nothing matters and there's no point in having any hopes or dreams. So I think it's called duality or balance, or what's it, yin and yang. Oh fuck, I'm talking so much shit today. I think we're gonna head straight into the podcast. I'm gonna be moving the titular titles tier to the end of the podcast now. It's gotten long, and I get that some people really fucking don't want to hear that at the beginning of the podcast. It's longer than an ad. It's way longer than your typical ad read. And I hope you as a patron don't feel insulted by that. But yeah, for those of you who don't know, this podcast is supported. Fuck, I have not done my job today. But this podcast is brought to you by you, which means you can support it by going to patreon.com/almostperfect, where you can sign up for as little as $1 a month. You can also buy merch over at almostperfect.co.za. There's t-shirts, there's mugs. It's a vibe. And you can also, like, if you go on the website there's like a Zappa QR code. You can just scan that and just give me money. If that's the thing you want to do, if you're like, come on, bro, I don't want a t-shirt. I'm trying not to add to global warming. That's laka. If you're like, bro, I don't drink coffee. I don't need a mug. That's chilled. And you're like, bro, I don't want to slice it like my money going to Patreon. Also, very reasonable, totally understandable. Hit that Zappa, bro. Hit it. Fuck. Okay, we have done the talking about what's relevant things. We've done the talking about what's not relevant things. I've let you know where you can give me money and things, which means it's time to get into the Almost Perfect podcast. We're going to kick this one off with Mojak Lehoko. We were chilling in his lounge, and we had a good chat about him being on his Dame Dash energy. So here comes the Almost Perfect podcast with Mojak Lehoko. So how are you living, Mojak?
I'm all right, bro. I'm doing okay. End of the year, a bit of fatigue, but grateful for what this year has been. Had some challenges, of course. Everyone's been going through a lot, but I think I'm good.
Yeah, you seem like out of a lot of people to have managed to still handle this year relatively well, but talking to you, like I've spoken to you a lot, like over this last year in comparison to any other year in my life, basically. So I feel like I've gotten to know you, and I feel like you've grown a lot in this time.
Yeah, I think there was definitely before the pandemic, there was some changes I wanted to make in my life. Maybe not so much lifestyle, but kind of career-wise.
Okay.
And
anything you can discuss?
Yeah, I've been doing stand-up for about 10, 11 years. I've really enjoyed it. I'll continue to do it, but I think there's something about evolving as, an artist. I'm saying that in inverted commas, and moving to another kind of phase of my career, and maybe that might be more from a background, production perspective. But I got to write a lot this year, which was something I was yearning for a long time. So I'm very grateful for that.
I was expecting like more on-camera stuff. Why don't you want to be the face anymore?
I still want to do that. I still will do that, but I think I need to make an active step towards doing, more writing/directing work, which I've yet to do officially. I think that's where I want to go. I watch a lot of acts, and I'm like, man, this stuff is great. I wish I could just help mold it a little bit, because I think it would help from a narrative perspective, or just tighten up shows. And so that's really where I want to be, is helping people get their stuff across.
Okay, well then maybe I'll chat to you in a couple months.
Holla.
Once I've got it's not the end of the world a little bit more solidified.
For sure.
But yeah, you were in Durban recently. How was that?
Durban's bizarre. It's crazy because I was in Umhlanga the week before, and then as I was leaving, I was like, oh yeah, this isn't Durban.
No.
Yeah, and I was like, this is a totally different ecosystem. It feels like a bunch of rich people who took their money and were like, we're going to build a new town.
That's exactly what happened.
Yeah.
It was not even just rich people. It was the white flat up the north coast of Durban is something that's been interesting to watch.
Yes.
Because what happens is basically that, they moved to Durban North.
Yeah.
Then they moved to Umhlanga.
Yeah.
Then they moved fucking, just further north. Now it's Umhloti, Belito, all of that. But now Durban North, the price of the property is less.
Yes.
So, you can now get nice houses in Durban North. And then as soon as they move on from Umhlanga, then, you'll get some nice spaces there. So I don't know. I think this white flat, in the long run, might work out all right.
It's fascinating when you talk about white people and how they occupy spaces. They can create new areas and little ecosystems with their capital, or they can come and gentrify a place. So it's always interesting. It's like we can take all our money out of here
and bring it back.
Yeah, or we can come back and kick all of you out because you can't afford this shit no more. So I was in Umhlanga for, bless me, a corporate, which was interesting.
I figured.
Yeah, and then the next week I came to Durban, and I was like, it was myself, Sean Ray van Wyk, and Lindy Johnson, who do a show called Talk That Shit. And on the way, I was like, hey guys, let's try to treat this as a holiday with some stand-up in between. So it didn't have the same stakes. We were just hanging out, and then we would do the show in the evenings. That was the idea, at least.
Yeah, I saw that because I mean I hung out with you for one of the days.
Mm.
But why is Durban bizarre?
I don't know, man. I think that I don't know what it is, but Durban's got like quite an interesting energy, and I mean, every city in this country's got like an element of segregation, but
Yeah,
it feels very clear in Durban in certain spots. I'm not saying there's no mingling at all. That's why we went somewhere, a place called like
Robson's.
yeah, and I was like, man, there's a lot of people of different races here. What's going on over here? You know, but like by the same token, you come to Joburg or Cape Town, you'll find that here too. But I don't know. Durban's just got like a weird coastal.
It's a small town. Like it's a city, but it's a small town. It's the weirdest thing.
Yeah, and I kind of like it, but you know, yeah. Let me say I like it, just so I don't piss anyone off.
Yeah, you might be coming back sometime. So
Yeah. I just the energy of it is interesting, you know. And I haven't traveled a lot, and I think working with new promoters is interesting, and you know, trying to see how circuits are being rebuilt or if they are being built, like what that looks like and what it's like to play it and experience it, and
yeah,
like
'cause that's actually what I wanted to try and talk to you a bit about because you've been doing gigs now and you've done them around the country. So how are you seeing the scene develop again?
I don't know. I'm still like quite disconnected. I'm not in it like that. I kind of my rule early in the pandemic was like I'm only gonna do gigs with like people I rock with, and sometimes that meant flying out to Cape Town to do a show with Pops or Tsitsi because I'm like I rock with them. They're good peoples. Let me take these 3 days off. You know, it was quite chaotic, but a fun experience. Or with Talk That Shit with Shanre and Lindy, I was like, I rock with these people. Or I said to someone, I remember Nina was working on some stuff. We were working on the Castle Light show, and
Oh yeah.
she had we had a nice, interesting chat about, you know, she was talking about like rebuilding industries, and I said, hey man, I don't think I can be actively involved in that way. But if somebody asks me to do something and my involvement will help and serve them, then I'll make an attempt to show up and be there. So
Yeah, that seems good.
yeah, so I'm still only playing limited shows. I can't really say what the circuit is because there's a lot of stuff. I'm just like, nah, I'm not. Like I don't know. I just like I did a gig in the city yesterday in Joburg, you know, like on Fox Street, and I was like,
Yeah, that was
damn.
on Fox.
Yeah, I was like, damn, man, I forgot how hard it is to get to this part of like because I took one or two left turns, then I was like, man, there's no drainage in the city. Like there's like a little flash flood here. It's like, oh, there's these recycling cats, which like is not a problem. I'm just saying like it's an unfamiliar space, and I'm like disorientated because I haven't been in that part of the world for so long.
Fox is right by it's right by Cape Town, is that right?
Next to?
Is or am I wrong?
No. So Fox is like Maboneng.
Oh, that's the other side of
Yeah,
town.
you're,
Fuck yeah.
you're thinking kind of like the Beer Street, Bramfontein.
Yeah, I
which
was,
is-
but it's so Fox's by Juta and all of those.
No, it's
fuck.
further down. It's further, but it's town. You know, it's like Bram is like town light,
Yeah,
and then you start getting into the city, and even Fox is like weird because it's one stretch of road that is kind of gentrified with all these restaurants. But if you go 2 blocks left, 2
I've bought
blocks
weed
right,
around there. Yeah,
someone might catch you lacking, you know, and that's what happened in Durban too. We played at the Parkview Hotel.
wait, did someone get caught lacking?
Nah, I mean, it just seems like that kind of area is
Very
like,
much so,
yes,
yes.
if somebody said run the jewels here, you definitely giving up a chain or a watch. But, you know, it is what it is, you know.
Yeah, I mean, but comedy, I don't know, comedy has always been like performed in those kind of places, like as almost like a badge of honor. I mean, you look in New York, you look in London, you know, you look anywhere because comedy is not a art form that's necessarily respected. And so it's always put in like these shitty little spaces in like terrible areas until it builds into something cool and then gets moved into like the clubs and stuff.
I mean, to a certain extent, I don't know. I mean, when I was in New York, it was a lot of bar gigs, but there were still, some of them were still in like very interesting places like the Village, you know, like.
Yeah, I've heard about that. I really want to.
Yeah, you know, there's like the Grizzly Pear and the Lantern. I haven't played the Lantern. I've played the Grizzly, and then it's like it's like on McDougal, you know, which is like 2 blocks from the Cellar, so it's relative.
Yeah.
I know what you're saying. You know, sometimes performances do happen in grimy spots, and there's an element of that. But I don't know. I think there's also like a weirdness about getting a little bit older,
Sure.
and you know, like, man, you kind of become a snobby bitch when you like turn a certain age. Like, I know people out there want to be brand new and shit, but it's definitely for me, it's like you hit 35 and your tastes and what you're willing to do a little bit. You know, I know like contemporary artists who show at like the Circa Gallery, you know, but would have studios in the city, and it's like, Yeah, man, where I'm at right now, I kind of want to be in kind of maybe nicer places because I've done that grime stuff. I
Yeah.
started at the underground in Melville. The dressing room was a toilet, you know. It was like, it was 3 urinals and a bucket of beers that were done in 11 minutes because every fucking Tom, Dick, and Harry would come backstage and nick one. It was a fire hazard. It was hot as shit.
I've only did that room once. I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
So what I like about that room is the same thing that I liked about Melville Comedy Club.
Yes.
Fucking chairs in a room. That's it. Like,
Yeah, I mean,
you can get your drinks from upstairs and stuff like that. I just hate having a bar or like food being served during a comedy gig. I really am one of those people that enjoys like just talking to the crowd and not having like fucking to, hear knives and forks
Sure.
and that sort of stuff.
I mean, that room was magical. It's my home ground. That's where I started. That's where I had so many great memories of like improvising, and that was my first paid gig. That was like, but the magic of it was a low ceiling. People were jammed into the room.
Yeah.
You pay $20 if you're a student, 30 Rand if you not. Chris Rock played there. I saw Gola and Dr. Moo, and like it was just a room you went through, and it's crazy. I was talking to Bev and Cullen, and him and John had some.
He's still around.
Yeah, I mean, Bev. I like Bev. Him and I've worked on some stuff together as a director. I really enjoy his stuff, and we have a mutual in Chris Forrest.
I remember him from like ETV in the mornings.
Yeah, he was I forget the name of his character, but he was on the Toasty Show. Or
Yes, the
some shit.
Toasty Show.
Yeah,
Fuck,
yeah.
that was actually rad.
Yeah, I like that on Monday. No, during the week on
Yeah.
ETV, that was a thing. We just gave away our age, and yeah, so Bev and John started their room, and they were both trying to learn certain things, and a lot of people came up in that space, and it represented an institution, which Kitcheners had also sort of been for a while in the box and all these places. But I love that room. It really meant a lot to me.
Yeah.
And it's a car park now, so
Oh shit, really?
yeah, life.
Pave
bro.
paradise and put up a parking lot, bro. Fucking
Exactly.
Counting Crow shit. Oh man. Okay, so what else is on the agenda these days?
Lots of pornography. No, I'm like it's the end of the year. I'm a weird fourth quarter kind of person. Mentally, I'm just like in a
tapped out.
Yeah, I'm like in a rut. It's like there's something about like
This year especially, dude. Like I am done. Like
yeah.
I've like. Not unfortunately, it's cool. People are hitting me up and being like, "Hey, I want to be on the podcast."
Sure.
And like, I was planning on taking a break for December, but now I'm like, you know what? Fuck it, I'll do it. And I'll take a break in January. But like,
Sure.
holy shit, I am done with this year, dude.
Yeah, I have a very like annual exams, school holidays like vibe of like just like November trauma. It's like paper 2. Mentally, I'm always in paper 2.
Maths too.
Yeah, I gotta, and I think I'm not good at trigonometry, and that's what I'm writing next. So that's what the end of year is always kind of like for me, and my birthday is like at the end of the year, and I think there's like an existentialness that comes with that. But I have a few more gigs that, some gigs have popped up. I thought I was done, and then people are calling. It's not a lot of stuff.
But it's crazy though, because shouldn't December be like a busy period for comedy? And it seems like, especially in Joburg, everything like dies down.
Yeah, I think people vacate Joburg. A lot of people often forget that Joburg is like, I don't know if this is the right phrase, but it's a migrant town. It's like people come here for work, and so come December time, they go back to their families, and so that's when people disperse and
So
go
I love
back.
coming here in Joburg in December, dude. Like, cause Durban's fucking hell.
Yeah.
So it's just like I come up here, visit my family, visit some friends, and it's nice and chilled.
Yeah, man, it's beautiful. Yo, Joburg December, man, you could have a full itinerary with no traffic anywhere on the way. You don't have to factor in travel time to nowhere, bro. It's like I'll see you in 8 minutes for everything. I like this town, as chaotic and beautiful and ugly and gross as it is. I love all those elements of it, and so I don't even know how we got here, but yeah, the last quarter of the year is always weird for me, and I'm just trying to get through it, basically.
Yeah, for me, it used to be like my busiest period, especially when I was like promoting hard, like for organizing events and stuff. Like, I would eat for like half the year off of like December January.
stuff? Yeah.
Like that was it. I would just max the fuck out and like do as many gigs as possible. And it wasn't even like I was making a lot of money off the gigs, but there was just so fucking many that it was like able to like pocket that cash. And then come February, everything in Durban just dies.
Yes,
Like you are not if you're going to do a comedy gig in Durban in February, you're going to perform to 2 people. And I know this because I've done it. And they came down from Joburg.
Oh, wow. That's like, yeah, December just shut down. I know like a lot of people, it's their corporate season. Mentally, I'd made a decision years ago to go, look, we don't bank on anything. So everything is like a bonus. So if something comes in, it's cool. But I'm just like, whatever work comes in, I'll do it. But I am mentally kind of logged out. And
then when are you logging back in?
I don't know because we spoke off. I was gonna say off air. Yeah, that's right. We talk off air, and you know, I had a conversation with someone last night about like, you know, often as people we talk about like the change we want to see in the world.
Yes.
And sometimes I think it's really wanky because it's got like elements of virtue signaling. Like people are just telling you something because you can be like, hey man, that person wants to address the inequality.
They're a good guy.
Yeah, you know, and then it's like, hey, it's 2 years later, where you at? Like, you know, we kind of have the same chat. So
well, we were kind of talking about this and we won't bring up exact names, but it's basically the whole thing of like all dude lineups.
Yeah.
Like in some ways. And like people talking about being like, you know, pro-feminist or wanting to help in like different ways and stuff like that.
Yes.
But then they take, like people don't ask the question of who else is on the bill?
Yes. Yeah. And I think a lot of us, myself included, have been very much complicit in that, in not questioning whether these lineups are representative and you know, so in my personal capacity, when I was working on Talk That Shit, I was like, you know, I respect and appreciate Lindy Johnson as a person, as a comedian. She was one of many, you know, comedians I wanted to rock with in genre. And it started out as a podcast and we did the shows. But the point was like, if you want to talk about representation, you have to do it. And I've kind of been grappling with like, you know, like, yeah, I say I support black women, but how many black women am I working with or directly employing? I won't say working with because I work with lots of
you work on things with black women,
yeah,
but you're
who
not
are
paying
writers, and then it's like, yeah, but what am I doing? You know, like I'm just talking this shit. Like, I do something. You know, don't talk about it, be about it. But anyway, the point is, I'm bad at social media, so there's a gap in what I do, and I want to hire a young, you know, black woman who specializes in content, and we'll figure out that plan. So I need to start putting that out and be like, hey, I'm looking for like not quite an intern, you know.
Well, you did just put it out to my audience, so you're going to get some DMs probably.
I mean, I guess.
I'm being serious. I've got a fucking dope audience of very creative people, and I'm sure some will be able to help you.
Yeah, hopefully I can get back to them because I also read this other thing about like, what was it called? Like corporate ghosting. When you apply for shit and they don't hit you back.
I fucking literally went for a job interview and like it's 4 weeks later.
Yeah, and like how painful and the anxiety that comes with that. So I'm like, so I also need to be ready. So whoever's listening, pause. You know, December 1st, maybe start. And I'll try my best. But I also don't want to, you know, open things up and then not respond accordingly and then leave people in the lurch. And you know, that's also an anxiety-ridden thing of like, did I get the job? What is, you know, because people are looking. But the point is we need to not just talk about what we want to do and do it. And so I'm like, you know, and I'm doing that wanky thing that I'm just been bitching about, but I'm like, yeah, I got to do something.
Cool. Well, I'm looking forward to seeing what you do then, because this is actually something that came up on last week's podcast.
Yeah.
It's just the whole thing of people saying a lot of shit but not actually doing it with their actions, and I'm fully on board with you. Like, granted, this is a podcast, so there's not a lot of action happening. The whole point is that there is talking going on, but I'm with you, man. Like, I also, in a lot of different ways, want to change, the way I've been working. So we'll see how it goes.
And the key I said to someone, you know, like, I don't know, but the people I was around were always doers. Yeah. And I used to just do stuff. I don't know what happened to me. I think, you know, I don't know, somewhere along the line we get co-opted into like this rat race shit. Yep. and we start chasing all kinds of goofy shit that we didn't even want in the beginning.
Hey, bro, once the bills get high, like, you can't just be doing shit.
Well, I live a low expense life, so I'm just like,
I mean, I'm looking around your house and I'm like, okay.
I mean, don't look at these gadgets, Bob. Don't let them confuse you. These are okay.
I mean, your books are new, you know? Like, I get mine from secondhand stores. That's all I'm saying.
I'm not gonna feel guilty for buying books at fucking full retail, Bob, because I want to support
I only buy South African books for full retail.
I want to support these small independent publishers like Penguin, who are really struggling,
Random House,
and Random House, who are really struggling in this. No, but I just gotta do because sometimes people see somebody do something and then they also inherently like, I can do.
Yes.
Lloyd Gola, he does.
Yeah.
Trevor does. Kagiso Ledira
just does.
does.
Actually, those are all people who really do. Just
Celeste does. Skumba Shope does. These are not talkers.
Okay, but also, what about the other side of that thing of maybe we're just people who like to chill, and there are people who like to fucking be here all the time.
Look, man. I can accept that. That's the role you choose.
I don't know yet. Like, that's the thing. I'm always in that, for me personally, I'm in that 50-50 space of I could literally do nothing ever again. Like, I could just chill, smoke weed, read books, listen to music, and have a fucking happy life. And then the other part of me wants to move to London and get on stage every night.
Yes. Bro, you've just highlighted a thing that I had been discussing for a year in therapy. I have Dame Dash energy sometimes.
Fair.
Right, where it's because of I'm a scholar of hip hop and like that business aspect of it. So I'm very hard about like, yo, business up, motherfucker. It's quite interesting because in talking to you, I just remember that I'd made an active decision to not talk to people about this stuff because I don't think sometimes my energy serves them in a particularly helpful way. It can maybe seem abrasive and unhelpful to be in the company of somebody who's, I'm kind of, I think I was in denial, but I'm either really placid or really intense. You know what I mean?
I relate to that quite a bit.
You know what I'm saying? But sometimes, motherfuckers want to chill and I'm coming in hot and they're like, bro, and I remember I was with Eb recently, Ebenezer Dibakwane, who I really
Love
like, and
I'm a big fan of that dude.
yeah, and Eb and I were joking that, man, it feels like after a conversation with me sometimes you need like mental Voltaren.
That's a good line. Fuck.
You know what I mean? You like, yo, this motherfucker wore me out, bro, because I'm coming in hot and it's just that hip hop shit and being a maker of your own destiny. But it's not just hip hop, man. It's like you look at these Amapiano cats, man. They pushing the wave,
I mean,
bro.
for me, it's like always like a punk thing. That's always been like my inspiration. The DIY, like, and that's why Colm for me was also such a wonderful thing to watch in Durban, grow in that, because that was very punk to me.
Sure.
And Amapiano is like an extension of that as well. But like it's that thing of people just creating their own shit and like taking it out into the world and like, making it into a thing.
Yeah, I mean, people have agency. Look, I respect if your decision is to chill, because I chill a lot. Don't get it twisted. I'll chill a bunch of motherfuckers if there was a world championship. But there's also a time for like, yo, let's get our fucking money up. Let's incorporate. Let's build, because there's this thing that's just been rattling off in my head like these last few months. Like, how the fuck are we going to call this an industry when the people lack industry? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Fuck you talking about? Yo, what are you building? What are you making? What spaces are you creating for people to also exist? And so, I said this. Yeah.
Like, these are arguments I've had for years about the industry, in that it's very a few people, making money and giving people scraps. Like,
yeah, but remember, just to anyone who's listening, I'm not fighting nobody.
No, you're not fighting anybody.
Yeah, I'm not mad at anybody. I'm just like, I'm really projecting my own shit to whoever's listening. Don't
worry, none of those people listen.
Yeah, don't catch surprise hands over here. I'm just going, yo, who the fuck am I? What am I about? And do it, bro. Stop like And it's hard because I'm in like, I'm not gonna call it a rut, but I'm in a comfortable place, and there's nothing that serves me less than comfort. It is the enemy of all of my progress, and it's been difficult because, I can't go to Grahamstown and lose a bunch of money on and try to write a show in 3 months that I play over 8 days in horrible slots because I want to be a better act. So I've lost the things that make me like a bad motherfucker. But so I'm just trying to figure out how to rebuild in my own capacity and then create space and hold space for other people without getting in the way.
Cool. I think we can end things there.
Intense.
Bro, podcast is nothing but intense. So, these are the deepest conversations. Like, I get to have deep as fuck conversations with people every single week. So whilst I'm like stuck, in my home, I'm still at least getting to like that's like I don't even have like casual conversations with people anymore. It's just these things.
I can't. Before you stop recording, Bob, I want to say to everyone's listening, I wish you long life. I wish you health. I hope you're doing well in these bizarre times. It's difficult. Whatever you're going through is not like, don't dismiss it because everyone's going through stuff. Your pain is real. Your successes are real. Celebrate them too. Treat yourself. Much love. Do right by people. And if something serves you and helps you, please do it. Bless to everyone listening.
So that was Mojak Lehoko, and I'm interested to see where he goes from here. Personally, I've got the vibe of I want to do more comedy, but I totally understand people wanting to do less, especially in South Africa where it can be a bit of a struggle sometimes. And yeah, there's many, many other options. It's something I think we all became aware of when it came to the pandemic, was trying to figure out, well, what else do I want to do? But a part of me is still like, I haven't done enough when it comes to stand-up comedy. I haven't done the things I really want to do when it comes to stand-up comedy. So once I've done those things, then maybe I can put it to rest. But I highly doubt it. I highly, highly doubt it. Anyway, as I say, looking forward to seeing what Mo does. Hopefully we'll work together. I actually do think I'm going to hit him up once I've got a better understanding of what It's Not the End of the World is going to be. Because it keeps shifting, it keeps growing, it keeps adapting. It's like barely the same fucking show that I did nearly 2 years ago. It's been over 2 years since I did that show. So it makes sense that the new show will be completely different to the old show. Although they are still some of the good jokes remain. And thankfully some of the shit that just didn't work is now gone. It's been deleted. It's no longer there. So yeah, that was Mo. Coming up next, we have Colleen Balchin, aka Coco, aka Rosie Parade, who is someone who is much beloved on the Joburg jaw scene, and they are the person behind Pussy Party, as well as a lot of the work that goes into Kitcheners. I can't remember the exact job title, whether it's booking agent or one of the managers or something like that. You can go listen to the last podcast that we did together and get a feel for that work. But this is a chat about surviving the pandemic as an events promoter and as a DJ, and what's come out of it, what they've learned from all of this. And I think it's there's a lot of interesting perspectives. I love chatting to Coco in general because I always get a bit of a different perspective than what I usually have on things. And there's always love, and there's always just a more compassionate way of approaching things, I guess. So I've got a lot of love for Coco, and I thoroughly enjoyed the time that we had together over the weekend. And I hope to see Pussy Party continue to grow and continue to have an impact, because I do think that the work that they've done has been super impactful and super important and can offer something different, to the typical jaw scene. I know if you've been, jawling in your lifetime, you know that things can be pretty chaotic and not exactly femme friendly and not exactly queer friendly and not exactly trans friendly and just not exactly friendly even. Nights out can be very aggressive, very tense, very high energy and high tension and just not always the most enjoyable times. And having places that focus on creating, or having companies and having spaces that focus on creating different energies and different vibes and catering to people in different ways is super fucking important, I think, especially for our growth as as society. So yeah, once again, I've got a lot of love for Coco, and here comes the catch up with Colleen Balchin.
So how are you living, Coco?
Hey, Bob. I'm living a lively. I'm still here. I made it. So far, I've made it.
So far,
Yeah. Still here.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, today.
Yeah. Not quite sure about tomorrow. I'm pretty sure that I'll be here until like definitely Sunday because I'm working all weekend. Thereafter,
Who knows?
your guess is as good as mine.
But how have you been handling things? Because, I mean, as an events promoter, life got very fucking difficult very quickly last year.
Yo, I feel like everyone's life got difficult, and my particular struggle was a certain intersection. Yeah, man. So I guess it was good. You know, to be honest, it was good. It was good to have like a pause and a shift and a change. It was good to break out of like habits and patterns and reset and think about what are you actually doing and why are you actually doing it. And I guess some people stopped doing it and some people just carried on doing it. And I think, you know, I am doing it differently now that I'm back. We have been trying to do it differently. I think we've been a lot more serious about like what we intend and a lot more serious about what it takes for us to do what we intend.
Do you mind elaborating on that a bit?
You know, like music lovers, music is a weapon, love is the message. Clubs as spaces of social cohesion and social change. You know, we're not doing it. I'm not doing it. Some of us aren't doing it for the likes.
Sure. I'm with you.
The likes don't hurt. Still keep them coming in, but you know, that's not the purpose. There's a different kind of purpose, and how can we actually then enact that, you know? So one of the things that I did was I applied for business school. Goethe Institute was running this 6-month
I love
business.
Goethe, they do good things.
They're sweethearts. Running the 6-month kind of like a business incubator, focused mainly on social impact and creative small medium enterprises. So we just finished that at the end of October. Pussy Party 1. There were pictures at the end, and Pussy Party 1, we've got a little prize coming in from them. So that was also like I'd never thought of this as a business.
I totally get you. Like, as someone who's run many businesses, like I've had like 4 or 5 businesses in the last 10 years.
CIPC
and I've
makes
never
it really easy.
Or there's that as well. Yeah, like it's $400. Like
you know what I'm saying? You
Yeah.
clickety-click, and there you are with a business. Yeah, so I'd never thought of it as a business. I think, you know, I'd kind of squirmed through my 20s without formal employment, just, you know.
Yeah, that's impressive.
Right?
Like Cool Lady's got a line that I love, and it's like, look how many years I've been living out without a job, but for real though. And it's like, that used to be the goal, and now it's just like, I like eating, bro, and
Yeah.
like the art thing's not working out as well, like as it should. You know, South Africa's a little different to Brooklyn, I guess.
Yeah. Yep, just a little. And so this has been really interesting to be like, oh, actually, the stuff that I was doing instead of getting a job, actually, that's my job.
Yeah.
Get a salary from Pussy Party now. You know.
Oh, yeah, I saw you said that. You mentioned you're finally like paying yourself a salary now.
You know, so one way of looking at it is that I'm a CEO.
Yes.
Another way of looking at it is that I work for Pussy Party. You know, Pussy Party pays my bills, and that's really cool. And it's you know, I think as things the way they were ended, needs changed. And if I wanted to keep doing Pussy Party, if we wanted to keep doing Pussy Party, Pussy Party had to provide for us.
Okay. Wow, because before it was just more of a passion project.
Yeah, and we were, you know, the plates were filled. You know, there was enough to scoop off the plate and serve a plate for Pussy Party.
Okay, fair enough. You eventually got to the point where it was like, cool, now we can actually, this is sustainable now.
Yeah, or, if we want to do it, we have to make it work. And we do want to do it. Like, the work is important. And if we want to do more with it, we have to be able to give more of our time to it. And if we want to give more of our time to it, we have to have some billable hours in there. So it has been like I think it's been a really good shift, instead of just skating by, we were forced to decide what we wanted to do and how we were going to do it.
So you kind of use the downtime to really like just reflect and like, so what's different now compared to before? Because I mean, a lot of what you're telling me is stuff, like I know you've always been like pushing towards. So how has that shifted since? Well, like what was it like beforehand that's different now?
I wonder how to answer that. I guess, life is precious. Everyone had a fucking hard time. Whether people had a hard emotional time, a hard financial time, a hard time in terms of loss, people had a really fucking hard time. It would be foolish to act like people are the same as they were. It would be foolish to act like I'm the same as I was, that priorities haven't changed, that I'm not just taking stuff basically a lot more seriously, the things that are precious, loving a lot more dearly.
Yeah, like because as you're saying, like, doing stuff less for the likes, and like, I guess you've been able to build more real connections or...
And like, just make that a priority. If you're just living, you're so busy living sometimes. And when it's literally like your life is interrupted, one way to do it is to pretend it's not happening and to run away. And the other way to do it is to sit down and look at your shadow.
Yeah, I think a lot of people... Well, that's the thing. I think, yeah, you literally nailed it, because there has been that thing of like the people who just disappeared and fucking like chilled and were like, okay, what do we do now? And the others who are like, I need to make this work. Like, even in this pandemic, like I need to continue my life. The way it's been going needs to carry on the exact same way. Like, how the fuck do I make that happen?
Yeah.
And then there was the other side, like I was saying, like where it's like, well, I can't keep living the way I've been living. So how the fuck do I make that work? And I'm still there.
Yeah. Yeah, man. It was just, I got enough sleep. Like for the first time,
helps, eh?
for the first time in I don't know how many years. At some point in the in that 3-month like hard lockdown, I woke up one morning. I'm like, hold on,
It's 6 o'clock.
is this rested? Are you telling me that I haven't been rested for the past like 10 years and this is what it feels like to get enough sleep? And like genuinely, what that does for the body and what that in turn does for the mind, or the mind and then the body, whichever way around it might go.
They're the same thing. So
Way more like emotional clarity and, stability. I was running on empty.
I get that, because I mean, even me, like, I go to bed at like 10 now. Like, I used to go to bed at 2 o'clock in the morning, like in the week, just normally, because my schedule was based on, Wednesday nights is comedy, so you're out all night, and then Friday, Saturday definitely out, maybe some Thursdays. So it's just like,
so Thursday went missing there. You're like Wednesday, Friday, Saturday. yeah, I've been there.
yeah, like it's, so that's the thing. You're just used to that schedule, so but then the sun's coming up, so you're waking up no matter fucking what anyway. So it's just, you're getting to bed late, you're waking up early, and you're never really feeling rested. That is one of the worst parts about like our industry, I guess, is that.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't realize, I just thought I was fine. I thought like 2 or 3 hours was plenty. I was doing great. And then all of a sudden realized, yeah, I mean, this curfew though, I am ready for. I'm definitely going to be falling asleep at like 12:30 in the club, but I'm ready for this curfew to lift on out and up.
Same. So I haven't like done anywhere near as much as like you have or most people have, but like the few times I've gone out, like it has been a little weird when it's like 11:30 and everyone's like, oh, we got to go now. I'm like, what do you mean? We're going to the next place, or like, no, home. And I'm like, why? And people are like, curfew. I'm like, oh fuck.
No,
okay.
Imagine having to be the person who turns the speakers off
at like 11:30.
It's not. I mean, 11:30. That's so cute. Curfew is 12. Bars and clubs will be closed at 11.
Okay.
So
I mean,
at 11:45, I'm the one turning the speakers off. Just as I've gotten into my groove, and when it's a party I'm really enjoying, it's worse. And then I'm the one, you know.
But
just
hasn't
as
it been
people
fun
start
starting
loosening
gigs
up.
earlier? No.
I mean,
Having more daytime vibes, having more those sorts of things, or is it not?
I like a daytime vibe. I like a sober party. We're sitting here at Toasted where we did a sober party last year. It was really sweet. There's nothing like the nightlife.
I feel you.
There's nothing like
That energy.
Yeah, what that is for people, that distinction and separation. And, you know, daytime partying is also a privilege of people who aren't necessarily working 9 to 5s.
Sure.
Maybe people who, you know, if people have kids and it's about childcare, and it's just nothing like the night, you know, there's nothing like that midnight. We've barely had the Kitchener's main dance floor operating because that space is just like, it's an after midnight space.
Okay.
That's the spiritual alignment of the space.
So have you found
know?
like a lot of the events you've done there aren't necessarily parties?
I mean, people want to party and then the party stops. Like by the time people are really getting into their groove, that's when people are leaving, and that's like not good for people's psychology either.
Okay.
You know, when we did Vogue nights, the hypest music was at the end, and at 11 we turned it off and pulled all the lights on, and people didn't know what to do with themselves and their energy.
Well, I like to reposted a thing the other day where like one of the clubs had like a policy of like wind down music for the last slot. And like I was like, fucking of course, like, because I mean I'm also someone who never used to do that. Like I'd be the last DJ and I'd DJ for 3 hours because I'd keep playing bangers and people keep dancing. And it's like eventually I was like, maybe if I actually just play different music I can go home.
I mean, I love a wind down set, you know, even if people are still there dancing, you want to like take the energy that you've built up and craft it to a certain kind of conclusion, you know, a conclusion which is about peace and love and harmony and feeling good. It's also why I don't like...
I don't know, I used to end with Odd Future's Oldie. That was like it's a 10-minute long song. So.
There you go. Time for the DJ to forget that the song is playing. You know, that's also why I don't like our 2 a.m. and 4 a.m. club and liquor licenses. They should let us go until 6. They should let us go until 8. You know, pushing people out into the dark of night rather than letting us complete the night together in a space which is held and has more safety structures in place. You know, and then it's the morning and you step out, the energy shifts. Like, you know, light is we're like plant, you know, we're complicated house plants.
I get that. I just think a lot of places don't necessarily have the same philosophies that you do. So,
Maybe not.
so as a broader scale thing, it might lead to more debauchery. I mean, we do have a problem as a country when it comes to alcohol and when it comes to partying. Like,
but I mean, what happened in the UK? You know, they put in their early liquor license limits and they got this binge drinking problem. And right now, that's
that's
seeing.
what I'm saying. Like, especially at the moment, like. I live on Helen Joseph Road in Glenwood, which is all bars and restaurants, and like it's a fucking jaw. But because of that curfew, like you've got people just like bailing out all at the same time. Like everyone leaves at the same time, and now it's chaos.
Yeah.
Now it's just cars and fucking, and there's bottles everywhere, and it's just. I'm with you. I think like maybe it is. Like I didn't know if that was curfew based or just based on the fact that people haven't necessarily been out as much, and so it's like a panic drinking kind of situation, you know, like you're just like, fuck it, like I don't know, you know, they're gonna have a
fourth wave is coming. It away.
Yeah. So it's one of those things where it's just like, I get it. I get the nihilism at this point for like younger people. Like I can't even imagine what it's like to be in your 20s at this point. Like being in my 30s is hard because it's like all the things I'd achieved, like are fucking gone. Like it's like I had momentum going into like 2020 and now it's just like gone. But like I can only imagine being young and like what do you think of the future? Like so I don't know.
And how like who how are you socializing and being socialized? It's really like human connection is really important. Being out together with other people is really important. People outside of your usual zones and connections. It's vital.
Fuck, I haven't met a new person in a while.
And people have been weird in the club. Like, you know, just as soon as we had opened Kitcheners again, you know, when we could open it again. No one knows how to socialize anymore. Yo, that first 2 or 3 weeks, every single night ended with someone crying hysterically.
Fair. Like, not even surprising. Like,
It's like, this keeps happening? Crying hysterically. Not that there was anything in particular that people were particularly sad about, but just whelmed.
Yeah.
I mean, I was one of the people crying hysterically.
no, I mean, like, yeah, I know after some nights out, things would be a little emotional for myself. So,
yeah. So I think there are some of us, who are thinking, what do we do? What do we do with that? How do we gently and with love and with hope and with foresight come correct from this time of so much pain and loss, which affected different people on so many different levels?
cool. I think that's actually where I'm going to end that. It's honestly like it's such good insight, and like I really appreciate that. And yeah, I hope that your impact like is greater over the next year than a lot of other people's.
Yeah, thank you.
because like yeah, you know what the events industry is like, and you know that there's going to be a lot of nonsense. It's about to kick off, especially as things pick up more. And so yeah, I just hope that your influence bleeds through.
Thanks, man. I hope I'm much better equipped today than I ever was before to be a conduit for the good things which are around us.
I told you you're always going to get a bit of a different perspective when you chat to Coco. I hope you enjoyed that as much as I did. It was great. As I said, we were chilling at Toasted, so that's why you would have heard all that clanging in the background. But it's a fantastic spot. Like, no, they haven't paid me anything. I'm just telling you, I had great food there, and it's a cool little vibe. And yeah, once again, thank you to Coco for coming and catching up and for the wonderful weekend. That means it's now time for me to shout out the titular titles tier, because once again, this podcast is brought to you by you, which means you can support it by going to patreon.com/almostperfect. Now, there are multiple tiers there. There's a $1 tier, there's a $5 tier, there's a $10 tier, and they've all got various benefits. But the $10 tier, the titular titles tier, is a tier where you can pick your title right here on the Almost Perfect podcast. And then you get shouted out by me. So shout outs to the team, to the cast and crew, to the champs over at patreon.com/almostperfect. Shout outs to our director of purchasing, Riz Ventura. Shout outs to the Almost Perfect hedge fund manager, Karan Slammin. Shout outs to the inevitable ruler of the universe and Queen Swifty, Kath Jenkin. Shout outs to Julian, who is the king. Shout outs to our Far East correspondent, Russell Grant. Shout outs to our Chief Sales Officer of Subtle Heresies in the Greater Overberg region, Rousseau. Shout outs to Karan Chetty, the assistant to the regional manager. Shout outs to Neil Green, our key grip. Shout outs to the Pantsless Weasel, Tyron Love. Shout out to our executive producer, Stephen Olivier. Shout outs to Vashendra Naidu, our spiritual advisor. And lastly, shout outs to our anonymous benefactor. And that's it. That's the podcast. I hope you have a good week going forward. Try not to catch the COVIDs. Try not to get too pissed off at people who aren't vaccinated. And if you're not vaccinated, try and get vaccinated, maybe. Consider it, think about it. Maybe read a few more things, maybe watch a few more YouTube videos, find out about the history of pandemics, how pretty much any of them have ended, and just how vaccines have actually been pretty helpful in the 20th century and the 21st century. Like, there's a very good chance you wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for vaccines. Also, listen to the Stuff You Should Know with Josh and Chuck. Great fucking podcast, that. But they did one on mRNA. Yeah, I think. I'm fucking it up like they were. But mRNA. Yeah, mRNA. I'm saying it correctly. But yeah, go check them out. They do a great episode on it, and just the science behind it. And I found it thoroughly interesting, and maybe that'll sway you. Maybe you'll go, okay, I get it. This thing's actually alright. Let me get some inoculations against COVID, and hopefully we can try to bring this thing to an end a bit sooner than it looks like it's going to at this moment. Because at the moment, Ain't no end in sight, baby. And on that note, I will catch you on the flip side.